Wasabi forever. Stand for something. We appreciate the blessing, bro. Let's go.
Ain't trying to bite it, we create it, then we ride it. We know our wave is seismic and you really can't deny it. We just keep on soaring higher, you would swear it's autopilot. Then you realize tone and shift and made a living off a fly. We are the wave and it's bigger than the moment. It's a movement that's progressing like the truck stick on opponents. It's time to stake our claim, it's time to bring the pain. We're battle tested, now it's time to show it ain't a game. It's time to make a lane, a different vibe, another wave. We're known for killing, shoot, even help them pick their graves. We're breaking free of chains and running towards the day. Like the victories in plain sight, we're taking flight to reach heights. These boys is tired of waiting, tired of playing, time to go. This vibe's been percolating, gaining steam to explode. Built in anticipation, maybe time to reload. We paid our dues, now we're coming back to repo. We kicking doors, we ain't got no time for peepholes. We keep evolving for our family and our peoples. Ain't playing fair in this game, we just some cheat codes. We are the wave and our hurricanes on beast mode.
Welcome to Waves of the Bay. With DJ Spaceship and Joker Phone.
What is going on, world? It's your boy Tone Capone, holding it down, Waves of the Bay, Tampa, Florida. You know how we get down, man. I got episode 11 of the podcast about to kick off here, and I'm excited, man. We got family sitting on the Zoom on the video chat away from me right now, which I haven't seen them in a little bit. And this dude's been doing some work, and I'm excited about it. He sent me over some work that's about to drop. I'm excited about that. It's March 9th when we're recording this. You know, I record in advance about a couple of weeks. So shout out to Biggie. You know what it is. One of the greatest rappers alive, or one of the greatest rappers ever, passed away today. You know, so rest in peace, Biggie. And then, it's going to be dropping March 23rd, a couple days before my birthday. So happy birthday to myself by the time y'all get to see this, man. But for real, this Waves of the Bay, episode 11. Tone Capone checking in. Shout out DJ Spaceship. Y'all can catch all the archives, whatever podcast platform you use. And I got the homie. I got the hip-hop artist, entrepreneur, creative, Dabron Kain on tonight's Waves of the Bay, man. So welcome to the party, Dabron.
What it is.
Good to see you, man. How you living?
I can't complain, man. Just being busy, productive, like trying to exercise my creative juices this year, I would say, for the most part. Like just really learning, getting my hands on everything and trying to learn a lot.
Bet. And that's the thing about you, man. You always soaking in knowledge, and as long as I've known you. So I've actually known this cat right here for this 2022 right now. Oh, shit. Probably about 8-9 years now. Like
yeah, about 9.
Crazy,
like 2012, 13. Yeah.
Crazy, man. Yeah, I've seen him grow as an artist. I've seen him grow as a man, and I'm happy to have him on tonight's show, man. Like for real, I don't really have any direction, any questions to ask you. You know, I like to do it. I just like to chop it up and just have a conversation with you. And I know you're a very interesting dude at the same time, so I figure let's go ahead and start by having you let the world know who Dabron Kain is.
All right, so that's like my least favorite question.
I know it. I love it. You're an introvert. You don't like talking about yourself, man.
Yeah, it's like, who are you? Well, let me, in simple terms,
who the hell is
Dabron Kain. Exactly. Why the fuck y'all should give a fuck about Dabron Kain?
Right, Dabron Kain. What?
Who the fuck is him? Why he call himself king? Nigga, you ain't no king. But
is that Kendrick?
But yeah, man, I'm a creative, hip hop artist, songwriter. I like to say that because like I don't like to limit myself. Entrepreneur, father, husband, all that. Like Dabron Kain in general is just somebody who like I like looking at the world through a wide lens and just always different perspectives and just taking shit in. But that's all I can pretty much say who I am. I mean, I think my music speaks for itself of learning who I am and people around me know, but shit, that's all I can really give you if I had to put it in words.
Oh man, I'm gonna tell you right now, we about to have some fun with this interview here because I'm just gonna play off of you. So when you say the music tells people about you, what's the message it gives them?
I mean, that it can be diverse as hell. So like, it depends on which Dabron Kain you give. You talking about raising the glass ceiling, and you talking about uh, pushing past boundaries. Like you talking about coming from like poverty and low income like household, like just the lower parts of your city, and still finding a way to just like bounce back. You talking about shit. Man, that's it's a lot, man. Like if you want to get into trial and error, you talking about a person who take diversity, a person who take adversity. That's what I'm looking for. I think it's that diversity. You looking for at a person who
It's
take
all good.
adversity. Yeah, you take adversity and flip it on its head, and like for the most part, I'm just always somebody who I like the message I like to put out is no matter how low you get, no matter how hard certain obstacles to get, you always just have to continue to push because you never know when your day comes. You never know when certain opportunities arise. You just got to work with the best of your situation.
Where now I know you've had some dark times in the past. So how did you actually adopt that mindset and actually stay convicted with it?
I would say just through the experience in itself, like it was I would say like my lowest or whatever, like depression and all that shit. Like it was a point in time when you realize like even if you have people around you, at the end of the day, at the end of the night, you have nobody but yourself. And so with that fact alone that you only have yourself, it's kind of like, all right, it don't matter how many people I lose or gain to this day. Nobody can change my situation but me. So I was in a situation where I was forced to push myself and get out of that lower part just to finally capitalize and make the best of my situation. It was like nobody could help me but me. And at the end of the day, that's what it all comes down to is like sometimes you have family. Some people don't got family. Some people don't got friends and shit like that that can help them out at certain times. Some people do have it, but it's not like people ain't dependable. So it's one of those things where you shouldn't always depend on people. Like you always count on yourself. Like you can never do wrong by yourself because you can let yourself down, but the only way you can let yourself down is if you just let up altogether. If you keep pushing, keep going, like you can't let yourself down.
You should always want to bet on yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
That's how I feel about it, man, and that's what I'm hearing from you. And it's kind of crazy because I was actually going to have you, go through some of the albums and just explain your mindset when you created them, and you kind of just went along and answered that question for me anyway, so that's cool. But I know you have a new project on the way, and I'm excited about it. You sent me the early release of it, and I've been bumping it, and I have my thoughts about some of my favorite songs on there. I've already shared that with you, but when this drops, when this interview right here drops, it's going to be the 23rd of the month, so I'm actually going to be able to follow up with you. Tell me how you're feeling right now, like a week and a half away in another project. That has to be exciting, right?
It's exciting and it's also nerve wracking, right? So you are an artist yourself. Like we ain't gonna get away from that. Tone Capone
Retired, man.
Artist
Retired.
always. Retired for now. But Tone Capone, you're an artist, so you know exactly what it is. As an artist, you ever have those moments where you pretty much like you finish a project or you put it done and you like, damn, I wanna get some feedback. I wanna pick somebody's brain, like, or people I respect. I want to I want to send it out and see how they feel about this, like what they feel about this direction. And then you send something to somebody, and then you go back and listen to it, be like, damn, how does shit sound to them? You try to picture in your head how they hear it. So that's all I've been doing, like just this past, like the project's been done for like I'd say at this time now probably at least 3 weeks now, like completely done. And so I just been
Okay.
repeating the shit, like repeating it, trying to visualize in my head. Damn, how would this be received? Like, oh shit, this need a little tweaking right here. I mean, it's submitted now, so there's no changing it. But it's like, how this gonna be received? Like, how can I hear from a consumer's aspect and not just a bias of me being me saying, oh yeah,
Mm-hmm.
my shit is all like. So it's just one of those things. Like it's exciting because since 2020, right? I've only dropped 2 songs. In 2020, I dropped
Whole moon. And what else?
Whole Mood and damn, how the fuck I forget my own song?
The King
Whole Mood
Midas
was
flow?
2021. Yeah, nah. So it was like 2021. It was Whole Mood. That was last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
2022, 2020 was oh, Still Get It. There we go. Still Get It. That one
Okay.
was like a nice little thing, and then the pandemic hit. So then it was kind of like I still was creating, but I also was going through my own shit around that time. Like I
Mm-hmm.
was turning, I was like turning 30 that year, and the pandemic hit, and all this shit changed. Shit changed for artists. Like so, it was like I dropped that one song, and it's like, all right, let me build on, let me work on a project, which I'm still working on, right? Then it gets to the point where you get to 2021 and you say, all right, this year gonna be different. I'm finna do all this and all that. Like we probably gonna get into some of that shit too. But 2021 come and you got this whole shit mapped out and your game plan flips on its head because of unforeseen circumstances. So then, therefore, once again, whole mood to me, to be honest, was a B side. Like I wasn't even expecting that. Like I went to Cali, shot the video, had fun and shit like that. I was like, I'm gonna drop this shit at the beginning of the year just to like set the mood off, no pun intended. And I'm gonna drop it off at the
But
beginning
keep
of the
people
year.
engaged, man. Have people pique their interest.
Exactly. And then I'm gonna come with some harder shit throughout the year. And certain
Mm-hmm.
things didn't play out for certain reasons, but now gets to this point with this project, it feels good because it's like, all right, damn, my last project was the Dark Album, and that was 2019, and so it's like it was an EP. Well, obviously, like the textbook definition is not an EP because it has to be 6 songs or less. It was
Mm-hmm.
7. Well, the Dark was 8 because I had a bonus, but both of them it was like less than 30 minutes. So I consider it an EP still, but whatever. So with this one, it's
Definitely.
like I can give them a body of work. There's certain artists that like to play the singles game, and it's like I get it. I was gonna play that game last year. I was gonna play the singles game, throw a few out there, hit it with the project. But I'm still one of those traditional type. Like you mentioned Kendrick earlier, he's one of them types. Like Kendrick still respects and loves the art of it. So you see Kendrick still competing on a level lyrically. You still see him giving a
Mm-hmm.
fuck about album concepts and stuff like that. So with this one, there's no real concept to it. There's a message behind it, but it's not necessarily a real concept to it. It's just more so of a messaging surrounding it, and it's just exciting to release it because now it's like I can show y'all the different shit I've been working on. Like some of these are just kind of like loop. Some of this is gonna be on the album, and then I said, "Fuck it, let's redo it." And a lot of shit is
Right.
brand new. So it's like, all right, I can show you what I'm working on, and I can like put some stuff that's not gonna make the project on this thing. And for me, it's like, all right, mixtapes don't exist no more because of streaming. Like you seeing certain people
Mm-hmm.
they trying to put their mixtapes on streaming. For me, this is my without it being like a mixtape. This is my version of like Wayne Dedication or The Drought Is Over, all that without the industry beats and shit. Or maybe like my Friday Night Lights, like Cole, the
Mm.
warm up. Like this is my version of that because it's like I'll go back to the Wayne one. Like he has Dedication 1, Dedication 2, Dedication 3. Like it keeps going. Like with this gives me opportunity now while I'm working on the album whenever I get inspiration to create some separate shit, like now I have the opportunity to just play with it. Oh, this King 1, we're gonna do King 2 eventually too. We're gonna do King 3, we're gonna keep it going. And
Just
it
keep
just
on
gives me
building on it.
exactly. And this gives me
Mm-hmm.
opportunity to keep feeding my fans, keep feeding people who checking for me. Like just keep feeding the music while they waiting on me getting a body of work together. Because at the end of the day, my favorite part is when a real concept comes together and the messaging comes across and you just see a real what's the word I'm looking for? A real I'm striking a blank again.
The
Cohesive. There
visuals?
we go. So, a
Okay.
real cohesive project. And so I'm currently working on my cohesive bit, but this right here for me is just another way to release something creative, something diverse, and touch on all of my sides of my fan base and maybe reach some new fan bases.
Mm-hmm.
And, just give, instead of feeding y'all one song, I'm making up for feeding y'all 2 songs in 2 years. Like, I love making music, I love putting music out, but at the same time, like, you have to, I like putting out I like bodies of work. That's like that's my gameplay at the end of the day.
It's funny you should say that because just like I mentioned Kendrick, like I feel like if Kendrick was going to drop on the same day as, let's say, like Jay, Cole, Drake, like the first person I'm going to listen to is Kendrick, probably 9 out of 10 times, because he always puts some type of a strong project, just like you said, a cohesive project together, and it's like I want to see what and the creativity he's about to come with. Plus, he doesn't drop all the time either, so when Kendrick drops, it's like, yo, I need to pay attention to this, man. But yeah, and that's pretty much how I feel about you, man. Like with all the older, I mean, like trial and error. I mean, matter of fact, let's do it like this, man. I know there's a lot of people out here waiting for new music from you. So, what do you have as a word to the fans out there?
That's a word to the fans. I would say the the wait is over. That's the first message here, right? The wait is over. I will say apologize to people that was checking for me that was waiting. I said it's coming, and then it didn't come like it was supposed to. So deadlines is a motherfucker. Paperwork is a motherfucker. So I would say apologize for the wait, but I'm gonna make it up to y'all because I'm gonna keep delivering. Like I'm gonna keep delivering. I'm gonna keep dropping. I'm not gonna oversaturate it, but I'm gonna give y'all enough where it's like it don't feel like he left a long time and all that, because even me as a independent, like upcoming artist, like I'm still up and coming or whatever, like me being an upcoming independent artist, it's the attention span these days is real short. Like that shit it's a microwave era.
Out of sight, out of mind.
Exactly, out of sight, out of mind, and people forget. And I honestly feel like a lot of people have forgot. Out of sight, out of mind, and it's not necessarily like there's people who I know there's people who haven't forgotten that's waiting, but then there's the new ones who maybe just caught on. Maybe you just caught on with the Dark album or Whole Mood or Still Get It, and you like what's coming next, and then it don't come fast enough, and they move on to the next shit. We saying albums. Like how many like dope ass projects dropped last year before this new year came?
Too many. Too many. But at the same time, you saying it just go like this, just go. Barely any of that shit is living. Even some of the big artists like CLB, I don't see as many people talking about it. Not saying that his shit still ain't streaming crazy because it's Drake, it's gonna stream, but you don't see people talk about it like that. Right.
Like it's a bunch of fucking projects that come and it's just gone. So in this microwave era where projects come and go, like me being somebody who's gonna come up still trying to grasp a habitual super fan base, I can't take breaks like Kendrick or like Cole or wait in between time. I have to keep striking while the iron is hot. And sometimes you may pick up people along the way who's patient enough to wait, but attention span is everything, and you want to keep feeding the people so they out of sight, like you said, out of sight, out of mind. But once you come back, you make them remember though. So that's my next.
You got to flex on their ass, man. You got to stunt, man. That's the reason why that's why they call you king. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta do king things if you call yourself king.
Exactly. Kings.
That's what's up.
Fake out here.
Yo, this is the Ways of the Day podcast, episode 11, Isaiah Thomas episode. I got Dabron Kain right here, holding it down, St. Pete, Florida, hip hop artist, creative individual right here, man. I see you creating your own merchandise. I actually Googled you not too long ago, and all the Dabron Kain merch, the hats, all that stuff popped up, and I was like, yeah, that's what's up, man. That's what's up. So let's talk about the music business now. I know you've ran into some unforeseen circumstances, as you mentioned earlier. Um, Without going too far into detail about that, I want to know, like, how did that impact your outlook as an artist?
Man, so when I tell you, 2021 was a big like blow, big lessons for me, like for many different reasons. And I can't, I'll go into a little detail, but not too much. There's still some shit that I still want to say and I can't. I
Yeah.
can
Don't
because
get
I
me
still
caught
can
up
do
on
it.
no NDA type shit.
Yeah, no, no. Well, that's the thing. There's no NDAs with this certain situation, but I'm gonna keep it cool. I'm gonna be classy about it. There's many times I've wanted to drop names and shit like that, but let's just put it this way. So 2021, it was like it started off very well because I not only signed a distribution deal with Stash House, then I first signing that deal I was approached with, that I was approached with. Um, I also ended up signing a management contract with somebody that I thought I trusted for a few years now. And without going into too much detail, um, I did read the contract, but it was very basic. But what I did learn was you should always have an attorney. Like, no matter how much you trust the person, you have an attorney read it from top to bottom because it's not necessarily that the contract was bad in the sense that I was getting fucked. It was more so of like the wording on it, the shit that it didn't say can harm you just as much as the shit that it does say. And so it was just funny wording on it. Uh, some of it couldn't hold up because Florida laws and shit. And I'm glad I like do my research. And so it's one of those things where it's like, I seen the intent behind what you did, but the irony was like, so basically just to put it out there, I signed a management contract with somebody who can't be trusted, but I trusted him for a couple of years, and the red flags was there. Certain people warned me about this individual prior to, but I was like, maybe everybody got a different story. I always try to see the best in everybody and give a benefit of the doubt. But there's always miscommunication, there's misunderstandings, whatever. So fast forward, I get in a contract with this person, and somebody else I know who's also under contract with this person is getting fucked over from a different perspective monetarily. And so that news got back to me and I didn't jump on it like, hey, you doing so and so. I asked certain questions. I know how to dance around something without, I know how to get the answers out of you without asking what I want to know. And it was certain things that I found out with that situation. So I had an attorney involved and all that, and luckily, like, the shit lasted till about September of last year, and I finally got out of the shit. Either way, it was gonna happen. Like, and luckily, it was a 1 year contract. With it had funny wording though to extend past that, but luckily, let's just say my attorney like definitely hooked me up, and so I learned, like, all right, no matter what it is, no matter the situation, like, I know to have the attorney look over it, but even if I trust somebody, even if it seems like a 1-2 page simple ass contract, you want to read it top to bottom and still have it double checked by somebody because there's legal terms that matter. And for me, what I learned is like the business doesn't fucking love you. No matter what it is, there's vultures everywhere. Like, that's the biggest
Everywhere.
lesson. Yeah, like I've had lessons before where I learned like people are predatory on artists, but this was the biggest lesson because it could have been uglier than what it was, and it basically set me back for the whole year. I still could have did what I wanted to, but for the sake of contractual things, me being under contract, and certain like just certain things that I wanted to do too much. I was like, I'm not going to drop music because at the end of the day, this needs to be solved before I continue to put more out there for someone to take advantage or profit off of me. And I don't want to really
You're investing in yourself, and they're getting the profits out of it.
And it's one of the things. It wasn't like the percentage wasn't crazy. I actually got a good percentage, but it was a principle of I don't want to give you none of my fucking money if you are actually trying to take from me, or if you're trying to set yourself up from taking from me. I protected myself enough in the situation where nothing was taken from me, but it could have went left if I did not know, because that's another off-air conversation we'll have. But
All right.
other than that, yeah, it was, I'll just say a lot of chess moves was played, and I'm glad I love playing chess. Like, a lot of chess moves was played, and point blank period, biggest lesson 2021, the business doesn't love you. There's vultures everywhere, no matter how close or cool you think you with somebody. Like, it's okay to double check that side too, to look like, say, all right, we cool, but personal is personal, business is business. And also, a lot of people use the cop out business is business, or it's just business, but there's a such thing as good business and bad business. Just because business,
legit business, you know what I'm saying? Professional business.
I like that, legit business. There's a difference. So, like, you can say it's just business, but that's not a pass. That's not the green light to do bad business or try to fuck somebody over or try to be predatory. Like, business is business, but there's still principles to it, where it's like, if you want to continue to do business with other people and keep a clean name, then you do good business. You don't do bad business, and you do legit business. Glad you said that, because that's one of the main things about it, was it wasn't legit business. There was a lot of
shady,
flashing lights. Yeah, shady, janky, name drop. Like, it's a lot of different things, and I would just say, like, it did waste a year of my career, I would say, but it prepared me, because I'm glad I was not on a bigger scale, a bigger contract, and all that. Like, because in that situation, it could be ugly for me. So now I no longer have management. I still have my distribution deal, and that's fine. But I'm glad now. It's like, find the right manager. Somebody, I think there was a post. Matter of fact, I can't remember who posted it, but I remember you was commenting on it, and you was talking with Hometown.
I think it wasn't Hometown that posted it, I don't think, but that's who we was talking with at the moment. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, and I was reading y'all comments, and I was like, man, it's so much I want to say, but I was like, I'm not going to say it, but y'all touched on a lot of important shit. Like, y'all both was making good points. He was making a point of, oh, if you don't have to ask accolades and shit to be a good manager, and I see that point of view. And you said, but yeah, you do have to have some kind of equity or some kind of leverage to be a manager, and I see it both ways, because
you need some credentials, man. Like, he sees it from the emotional aspect and somebody believing in you and pushing you and stuff like that. And I'm seeing it from the business side. Like, if I'm going to invest my money as an artist in you, you know, if I'm going to be paying you anything, if I'm going to trust you with my career in any ways, I need to see what else you have done. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's
a fact. But see, both can be true, right? Because the reason why I say I see it from both sides is because, like, he mentioned somebody, like, I pay attention. There's a lot of new acts, and then there's the scene has changed a lot, but I pay attention. He had mentioned Barely Legal, act that, like, I've met them before. I was in the studio before, and I've met them I didn't know who they were at the time. And then, but the fact that how they move, you just kind of can tell that they have good management. And they're all young as fuck. And from Hometown's perspective, it's like, if somebody's hungry, if somebody's charismatic, hungry, and even if you ain't got the credentials off the bat, but you know what you're looking for, you doing the research, you hungry, you driven, you can easily get into these rooms and meet certain people and build leverage for your artists without credentials. You can build the credentials up, because everybody will start from ground zero. Like, you don't start off. That's like when jobs be like, oh, you need experience to get experience. How the fuck are they getting experience?
You already know. They used to frustrate the fuck out of me.
Yeah, so I see an aspect from him, but from your end, I see it as well, because it's like, if you get a manager, you want somebody who can do shit, like somebody who know people, somebody who's not gonna do some basic shit. I I said on the Dark Album, and it's funny how that shit ended up coming into fruition, or it stayed true to this day. I said, the game's to be sold, not to be told. Grab your wallets, but don't get finessed by someone trying to sell you common knowledge. And so, pretty much with that line, it's like there's a lot of people who walk around with information that this artist may not know, the average artist may not know because they don't do their research, but it's common Googleable knowledge.
Easily.
And they sell that shit to people. And they take advantage of artists who don't Google this shit, who don't do their own research, and they sell it to you. Be like, yeah, I'll do a consultation for this amount. You could pay me to set your publishing and all this shit up. You can have, and it's like, bruh, you can do that shit yourself without paying anybody to do it. You can find this information for yourself, but sometimes there's people who take advantage of artists and they present it to you like the holy grail, like, oh yes, I have this forbidden knowledge that only I have, and it's like, nah, like I see a lot, I see a lot of that, bro.
Like for me, like that was part of the game that was like discouraging, because just there's so many, they're out there, like it doesn't, like they can care less about your talent. You know what I'm saying? Like they just see a dollar sign on you and they're trying to capitalize on it and then kick you to the curb. And man, people don't understand that. Like I hear all the artists talking about they're going to move to Atlanta, whatever. I can dig it, man. Atlanta's the shit. But you're new in town and they're going to look at you as a damn dollar sign and they're going to get you for what you get. I mean, it's like, you got to understand it, man. Like people got to easily, man. And that's what the music industry has become because it's so accessible. Like, people always claiming that they're this, like the A&R hustle and all that shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like I can call myself a manager right now, put you on Ignite the Night, put you on fucking the Cypher, and call myself a manager that way. It's like no, like you could have just, if you would have came out to the show and met me or H, you could have been on the show too. Like you don't have to get a manager for that. Like it frustrates me, dog. Like honestly, it does frustrate me. I see it all the time, man. But ideally, you want a blend of both of those characteristics, man. You want somebody with credentials that believes in you and that's passionate, and that's the way that that's the way to go right there. Like that's what you're really looking for. But yeah, man, like it's a dirty game, bro. That's the best I can say. It's a dirty game. I could have a green screen behind me right now, making it look like I'm in a yacht with my feet up, looking like I'm balling and shit, man. It's a dirty game, bro.
Niggas Photoshop pictures and be like, "Oh yeah, I'm in Turks and Caicos right now," and like
easily. I got a few on my friends list, man. I don't trust anything come out their mouth no more, dog. I done seen them on somebody else's plane fronting a couple 3 times. Like, nah, bro, they ain't you, bro.
Exactly, and the thing with artists too is we got to stop having stars in our eyes. Like a lot of times. We get gas, we see certain promises, we be like, oh, this person doing that, and you get stars in your eyes, and you be like, damn, I need to link with this person so they can. I have an opinion about like different people in the city, different things, and it's like certain people think they know the way, and they'll say they know the way, but it's kind of like you kind of the same thing as common knowledge right now, like. A lot of people would gravitate to somebody because they think they can do something for them. And then, like, they have stars in their eyes, like, oh, yeah, this person going to take me somewhere. And that person don't take them to where they supposed to take them. And they learn that years and years after dealing with certain people. And it becomes a point where it's like, damn, I wasted all this time. I thought this person was going to... Like, there is levels to it, right? There are certain key people in the city that will get you, like, you got to start at ground zero. So somebody to teach you, I don't know shit about shows, I don't know shit about this. Somebody's going to show you that way. Somebody's going to show you the next way, and it's going to keep building up. You're going to keep meeting different people. So you don't necessarily sleep on the lower guy, but people got to stop looking at certain people they view as their top tier, like they can put me on, they can do this and that, and trying to shoot for the moon. And thinking like this person gonna get them signed, this person gonna change their life, and it's like yes, rub shoulders with these people, soak in the knowledge, but at the same time, stop skipping the middle part because you never know. There's people on the lower tier who can introduce you to somebody who's even more important than this person. Stop falling for the smoke screen and the lights camera shows and lights and all that, especially on social media, it's easy to fake because like y'all fall for that shit very often, and y'all clout tokens. Y'all get at people thinking they got clout tokens, and y'all try to cash in on it. And
They clout chasing, man. That's what it is.
yeah, that's what it is. It's a lot of clout chasing people, especially. I'm not even gonna get started.
Yeah,
But
that's a whole nother.
clout chasing is real. At this
For
point.
real.
It's kind of like networking is very important. At the same time, just stop believing these people off one thing. Let them show you first and not tell you. If they really can put you on it or do something better than you can do for yourself, then it's going to happen for you. It's going to happen. They're not going to keep telling you and then nothing comes of it. Like they're eventually their actions got to materialize.
I call it letting people hang themselves, man. Like, honestly, I'll give you a little bit of rope. You say you're going to do what you need to do. Cool. I'm not going to press you. But eventually, if you're not going to end up getting it done, you're going to end up hanging yourself. So that's yeah, that's what I call it right there, man. This is Waves of the Bay, the podcast, episode 11. I got Dabron Kain chatting it up with me, man. March 9th, rest in peace, Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Right before the drops. I'm excited about it. I got the early edit over here, man, and the songs I've heard, you sound very comfortable on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you sound like your delivery is all the way ironed out. You know, you sound like you're riding the beat just perfectly. Like, explain to me, like, the making, like, of that album.
So, all right, this is where I can really get into the story behind it, right? Without getting into too much too, there's some certain parts.
Uh-oh.
Anyways, let's just put
I'm
it this way. I'm about to edit
this shit out. Hold up.
Yeah, no. Put it this way. There's a lot of things that I wanted to do, right? There's a lot of things I wanted to do, and it didn't happen. 2021, once again, it goes back to 2021. So finally, certain plans fall through, whatever. When those plans fall through, it's kind of like, all right, at the end of the day, I have myself. I'm still independent artist. I still have control over my own music. It's not like I don't got control. Like, I have complete control over my shit, but you just you get a benefit of the doubt with certain things. And so it's like one of those things where a lot of things fell through. So I was like, fuck it. I still want to come with some shit. I'm not waiting until April, May, June. I barely want to wait March, but only because of the submission process is the only reason why I'm even like coming in March. I was ready in February. This project was, this project was done in February, but I have to stagger it out like 4 or 5 weeks, something like that.
Okay.
So when it comes down to it, was like the process of this project was like, all right, I have a few joints. It started off as I'm gonna drop 4 joints. I'm gonna do 4-song EP. I'm gonna call it a 4-pack. I had no name for it whatsoever. Nothing. No cover art, no concept. I'm just like, fuck it. 4 songs, 4-pack. What I'm gonna call it? Yeah, I'm gonna just give it to y'all. And then I was like, all right, you know what? Let's make 6. The EP can be 2 to 6 songs. So fuck it, let's do the full 6. And I had my engineer send me some beats, and I was like, oh shit, this is talking to me. So I was like, all right, fuck it, we gonna add this on here. We gonna add this. Some of these songs was ready, like Dwayne Johnson. I would say Dwayne Johnson I had for a minute. I didn't know I know it wasn't going on the album, but I knew like it's gonna come out eventually. I don't know when. Let's throw it on a pack or something like that. So that was I had that one. Berg State of Mind. I put that one out, the unmastered. It wasn't mixed or mastered. I put it out on SoundCloud last year through the frustration of like the whole music shit. I put it on SoundCloud. I had to put it on streaming platforms, and it wasn't
right, man.
Yeah, that one was supposed to go on the album. I may still do it. We'll see. But I said, fuck it, I got that one. Let's put that out. And then I had Dreams that was supposed to go on the album. It wasn't recorded, but I had it. Like, that's going on the album. That's like I have a track listing of The Gray Area, which is gonna be the album. And I said, nah, you know what? Let's give them a preview of some shit. So I put that on there. Then my engineer sent me some beats. I found like 3 of them joints. And I was like, nah, I gotta do this shit now. So my process was like, fuck it. You the king of your own destiny. And I'm King Kain. That's my branding, so fuck it. I'm gonna make a brand-based mixtape or brand-based EP. So it's easy. King. Just keep the title simple. It's very a broad title. It could mean anything. It doesn't limit me to what my content gonna be. King. It's within my branding. Like I said, this is my dedication. This is my or my Carter. This is my Carter 1, 2, and 3. Just not a full EP, but yeah, this is my
your music.
My bad. It's me.
Yeah, that's your mood music right there.
Oh yeah, mood music. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, exactly, yeah, mood music. So I'm like, fuck it. Like, let's go ahead. Let's get thick, strong ass songs that touch many different areas. And shit, King. This is my brand. I'm the king of my destiny. I drop when I want to drop. Fuck it, I'm the king. Like, let's go. Branding. The branding is straight. The growth. I can do whatever I want to with it. So my thought process was like, I want to give y'all something diversified. I don't want to limit myself to, I can give you the bars and shit. I can give you the female joints. I think I really got into the female joints. Like, I think it's half and half.
For sure. But it sounds good, though.
Yeah. And ironically, the 3 female songs on it kind of go into each other like a story. Like, if you really wanted to put it together, but like I said, I'm gonna do half and half. I said I got 3 female joints. Let me have 3 like in the middle, like rapping joints and kind of turn up like type shit. So I said, yeah, half and half. Let me half and half this shit. Something for the females, something for the niggas, and everybody gonna like some shit off of it. Like, people gonna gravitate towards some shit. So let's see what happens. Because at the end of the day, when I drop this one, and I'm very confident in it. Like, I can't wait to see what the feedback is gonna be. But at the end of the day, if somebody feel like something is missing off of it, I can always come back with King 2 and give you what you've been missing until the album comes out.
All right. I like that right there, man. I'm talking to Dabron Kain. We're talking about this new project, King, about to drop here. Talking about the long wait for music. I want to know about your beat selection process, man, because you're telling me about, having engineers send you all these beats and stuff. Something tells me you a hard dude to send a beat to, man.
Yeah, I tell you right now, I'm picky as fuck. Like, I'm probably, I wouldn't be surprised if you've heard from other producers in the city or anybody who said, oh, I sent him beats and like he just didn't.
I feel like I have heard that one time before now that you say that. I can't think of who it was. But.
And it's not like it's always, but it is like certain people send me beats and it's like, I'm very picky about it because like Kanye West is one of my favorite artists, right? But like, I'm not gonna say he's my favorite producer, but when he gets on his album bag, like he does all this changing up and shit, and he let the beat play out and all. Like, I love all that type shit. But it's also how I feel in the moment. So sometimes I'll get a pack of beats from a producer, and it's kind of like, how do I feel right now? Like, what's talking to me? And then I'll go through the shit. Hey, Cole said on the album, he was like, he sent me this shit, and I probably didn't like fuck with it. And then I came back to it, and I was like, all right, you know what? I do fuck with it.
Sometimes you gotta sit with it.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta sit with it.
Tell your story. Yeah, something like that. I'm with you.
And so it's like, I get a pack of beats, and I sit with them, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna write to this shit because it's how I feel right now. And then maybe the next day my mood might change, and then I may go through them again, and I find some other shit. Oh yeah, I want that for sure. Matter of fact, let me tell you, Dream on the project. I've had that beat since 2019, I believe. And I'm just now. Yeah, I had it since 2019. I always knew I wanted to write to that one and do something with it. But there's beats that I'm sitting on that I have shit too. But timing is everything. So my selection process is kind of like, does it fit with what I'm currently into right now? Does it fit my current mood? Does it fit the kind of content I'm trying to make? Does it fit the sound? Kind of like, I don't necessarily chase trends of the end sound, but I try to stay kind of current with like the times or whatever. It has to be kind of, it got to have a place for it. It can't be kind of outdated. So it's like, well, I feel like rapping, or do I feel like singing?
Right.
And, that's just what it is. I may run through like 20 beats and pick 2 of them. But that doesn't mean that I won't come back and fuck with it. Like, one day I may just go through my folder again and be like, oh, shit, why I ain't fuck with this one before? That's happened many times. And I came back to it, and I make some fire-ass shit to it. I'm like, yeah. It just, you got to live a little bit. You got to live life. It's very important to live. Like, that's where the inspiration comes from. You kind of got to live. You got to kind of be in the moment. Like, if I would have dropped Gray Area in 2020 with everything that was going on then, that probably would have been a very more.
Would have got ate up, man. It would have got ate all the way up too, man. It would have got just sucked in with the whole Rona and all that shit, and you wouldn't have been able to do everything you need to do with that.
It would have came and went. And so it's like, yeah, my process of picking beats. And on top of that, it's kind of, people try to ask me, like, what kind of beats you like? I will say this. I love samples. I love soul samples. Like, that's my bag. I would do it a lot more. The reason why I don't do soul samples is because a lot of producers use actual real soul samples, and you got to clear the shit. I've had a beat before where I actually did reach out. It was a Donna Summer sample. And they hit me, and it was like, it's this much, but we got to get to the publisher and blah, blah, blah. And this shit was hard, but it never came out because they never got back to me, whatever. And so it's like, clearing samples is a motherfucker, especially if you have no leverage. You have no leverage, or you don't know somebody, or you don't have the budget. Like, so now I'm kind of learning where, like on this project, there is fake samples that you create. Like, it's not nobody else's shit. It's kind of like you make it sound like a sample. You know what I'm talking about? Like, so now I'm dancing in that bag. I love soul samples. I'll never get rid of soul samples. As far as everything else, our brother told me the other day, he said, you have your own sound. And not necessarily that I think that I'm very influenced by certain artists, and sometimes you may hear it. Sometimes you may not. But I've never considered myself of like, what does a Dabron Kain beat sound like? Like, I still to this day couldn't tell you what is a Dabron Kain. If somebody come to you and be like, hey, this is a Dabron Kain beat, what exactly is that shit? Because I'm diverse as fuck. At least I would like to think with the kind
versatile.
Of shit that
I'm with you on that shit, man.
Like,
I'm with you on
it's
that.
like I can't pinpoint it. I know what my shit will sound like. I know my bags I get in. I do understand, like, I have different identities within myself of the kind of bag I get in, where I'm singing, harmonizing, rapping. Like, I know the different bags I can get in, but I honestly couldn't really describe to you what is my sound or Dabron Kain's. Like, what is a Dabron Kain beat? Maybe someday somebody make a Dabron Kain type beat and shit, and I'll be like, oh, okay. Maybe they understand it.
But what if you call that shit trash and just ruin their whole ego right there, man?
That happens. Like, I remember.
I just like my Dabron Kain beat. Kill their whole vibe, dog.
And I'm sure that's gonna happen. Like, I remember a T-Pain rant. He was like, how y'all gonna send me a T-Pain type beat? And it sounds nothing like T-Pain. It was hilarious. Like, just the rant he went on. Like, this isn't a T-Pain type beat. This sounds like nothing I want. How did you come up with that? I don't know. Everybody got different ears, though. Like, people hear you in a different light that you hear yourself. And we can't, fortunately, like, you don't decide that. As much as you want to say, I'm this and this, and I'm this kind of rapper, somebody else is going to peg you and name you something else that maybe you want to be or don't want to be. Sometimes you may feel like sometimes you may feel like people be over, let me say it the correct way. Sometimes you feel like people are gassing you up. Like, oh, you just saying that shit. Like, you really think it's that dope? You really think I'm up there with so-and-so? And then sometimes you feel like people be underrating you. And you be like, how the fuck you think this is not trash necessarily? Some people feel that way, but you like, how do you think this is overrated, or you don't think this sounds a certain way. Like what? I go back to my old shit and I be like, y'all slept on this shit. Like you don't know
Hmm.
this line I just said. Like that happens very often, but unfortunately, like we don't make that determination. We can make the determination. I can tell you, I'm a lyricist. Um, I'm diverse. I have substance. I have this and that. And somebody else might be like, oh, nah, you ain't that lyrical, or you a commercial nigga, or like, oh, you too boom back. Like you never know what somebody gonna say.
Facts. Facts, man. I'm speaking with Dabron Kain, holding it down for St. Pete, episode 11 of Waves of the Beta podcast. I want to know, how has fatherhood changed you as an artist?
That's a good question. To be truthful with you, I've never really like took the time to really think about that. Like I dropped trial and error when my son was in the belly, in the womb, and my son ended up. When did I drop it? Probably like in April or something like that. I don't remember. But my son was then born in August, and then I had the music out, and that was probably some of the best. To this day, trial and error is my personal favorite project.
Yeah.
And that's the last full length album that I dropped. That's the last one I dropped. I don't count the light or the dark because those are supposed to be EPs and it's a part of like a trilogy and shit. But anyways, um, like that was I had trial and error when I dropped that when my son was in the belly, and when he was born, it was kind of like with fatherhood. I guess you would say as an artist, like it made me get a lot more focused because I'm like, if I'm gonna pursue this or whatever, like, and still handle my business, um, I gotta be successful. Like, I can't. Now I have to think about somebody else that I gotta feed. It's not. It's no longer just me, or it's no longer just like worried about my wife or anything like that. Now it's like I have a son that's watching me that I have to feed and I have to take care of. Like it's now a whole family now. It's another person in the
Hmm.
equation. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like, if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna go in, do it to the best of your ability, and make sure you do it right. Don't put yourself in a situation where um, it's jeopardizing your household. And I would just say I've taken a lot more serious. Like I've matured a lot. I would say as
Hmm.
being a father and all that. Now it's kind of like it's like you think about your childhood and you get to watch your childhood all over again with your kids. Like,
Right.
and you just like, man, I remember those days and it was that simple. So I would say it's matured me a lot as far as my aim and focus to it. Like I just got more focused, but I never changed my direction as far as what I create or my sound or anything like that. I just said I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, but I'm gonna do it to a point where I'm going to be successful with it. And now it's like it's more incentive to be successful. It's more incentive to do what you decide to do. And I can't crash and burn in this because I have people to think about. I have a
Stakes are
legacy now.
high, man. You got a
Yeah.
legacy. Exactly. Exactly. I like that right there, man. DeBron the Don Campbell, episode 11, man. I'm having fun with this, man. It's good to talk with you again. Thank you for taking time out for the podcast as well, man. What else do I want to know from you? I know we got a lot of music on the way. When is the gray area actually going to be coming, or when should we expect that?
I'll say this, right? I was having a conversation with my brother yesterday. Um, he was saying, yeah, you want to make sure the shit is right. You don't want to rush. And so last year and a few different things, like I had a track list and everything, and I end up restructuring the whole project. So now it's kind of like the direction is the same, but now um, I'm more tight knit at getting the ideas worked out, like just the ideas on execute on it. So I'm hoping top of the year, like or end of the year, like I'm hoping to have it then. But if I don't, it's no big deal because I know that I could fill the time in until I get it done. I ain't gonna rush it. And it's one of those things like I can have that project and sit on it. And if a big break comes or a certain opportunity comes, you're going to have some of your best work in the tuck, ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
So the gray area, I don't want too much time to pass by because I'm telling you now, after the gray area, I already have 4 or 5 like other concepts, whether it's an EP or albums. I have 4 or 5 concepts already in my head now of things I want to execute. I want to make an R&B album. I'm not the best singer in the world, but I'm a damn good studio singer.
All right.
So
I need to see this. I need to see this.
I want to make Kano Ace and Heartbreak. That's what I'm gonna call it, Kano Ace and Heartbreak. I can't wait to get to that. So the gray area, the wait is not gonna be too long, but as long as everything plans always change, but as long as everything works out and the execution of everything I want and I get it to how I want it, then yeah, we can look at towards the end of the year when I drop it. Then I can go ahead and move on with all these other ventures and ideas I want to execute and just keep evolving. But you
grew your hair out, became an R&B singer now, man. Look at you, bro. Look at you. All right, well, let's switch it up a little bit then. You want to talk about R&B? We have always been calling for a Mariah Carey versus Mary J. Blige a versus. So if that actually went down, who do you think would come away with the W on that?
Yeah, I've heard that one too. A lot of people say Mariah Carey and Whitney, but obviously that couldn't happen for obvious reasons. But a Mary J. and Mariah. I want to say Mary, I really do. But actually, no, you know what? Because when they do the verses, they do also the performance aspect. Like, we've seen people that we thought was going to win, and it went a different way because of the performance aspect. And
like who?
If it's one of those,
Hold on, like
so for
who?
example, them setting the locks, right?
We knew the Locks was going to win. I knew the Locks was going to win.
We knew the Locks was going to win, but we thought it was going to be a lot closer than it was. They kind of swept the floor with Dipset, in my opinion, based off performance alone. Who else?
I'll give that to you.
Performance alone. Who else?
The 2 Chainz and Ross one, but I mean that was unbalanced anyways. Ross was one of the goats, man.
Exactly.
Yeah, Ross is a legend.
I had Ross going with Ross can go with either a T.I.
With T.I. or Wayne.
Or Wayne. Nah, we're gonna get on that. Let me answer your first question.
Yeah. We come back to that. Come back. So Mary J.
So Mary J. and Whitney. Mary J. and Mariah. I think Mariah got more hits, or she has more classic hits, right? She can bust out the damn Christmas, she can bust that shit out. But her vocals, as we've seen over the years, have not aged well. And I don't know if that's just rust and not practicing or what. Like, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's gotten better. Who knows? But you just seen Mary J. at the Super Bowl, and she sounded pretty damn good. And she puts out her little 2-step, her little little Mary J. moves. I think in the court of public opinion, Mary J. will win that. But if Mariah Carey shows up and her back vocals is right, and she's not trying too hard to, hit some of them notes that she can't hit no more, then I think Mariah can take Mary J. because Mariah has so many fucking classics and so many bags to pull from. But they also have a pretty similar trajectory. Like, I wouldn't necessarily say they came out around the same time, but they was popping kind of like around.
It really was. I mean, they was close enough.
Yeah, they was close around the same time, and then both of them went away and came back again and had a resurgence, and both of the resurgences were successful. So I would say Mary J. from a performance aspect, but if Mariah performs well, then I got to give it to Mariah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me give you one more R&B right quick while I'm on it, man. Because for the longest, I've been thinking Boyz II Men and New Edition was the matchup. But I've been reading other stuff lately, and I see that a lot of people don't feel as highly about Boyz II Men as I do. Like, I feel like Boyz II Men is like one of the best R&B groups of all time. Like, so let me throw Jodeci and Boyz II Men at each other. Who do you think would come out on that one?
So when you say Jodeci, right?
Hmm.
Are they allowed to reach into the Casey and JoJo bag too?
Usually I would say yes, but for this one, let's say no.
I'll give it to Boyz II Men.
We give it to Boyz II Men. So if Casey
Yeah, I'll
and
give it to Boyz
JoJo's
II
was
Men.
included, then it would sway the vote for you.
It would make it a little closer,
Okay.
but Boyz II Men got a lot of classics. A lot of people do sleep on their shit too. Somebody had the argument. It might be our brother-in-law. Said Casey and JoJo versus Drew Hill, and he had Drew Hill on it. And I was like,
I'm a Drew Hill fan
nah.
too, though, man. But no.
But I have to give it to Boyz II Men. They got a lot of classics. They can pull out shit. Mariah Carey, like they got all the bags they can reach into, like, and even still then, like I was born in the '90s, so I heard all the music. I wasn't living in it, but I'm very familiar with all of it to know enough to say, like, Boyz II Men, especially as a unit, definitely would have a bigger, better catalog than Jodeci.
Mm, tough one right there. Okay, so going back to what we was just talking about, though, there's Jay said that he was not able to be challenged in the verses. If you were going to put anybody against him, who would you put?
I like this one because I've answered this a bunch of times. Like I've had this conversation all the time, right? Jay says that, and Jay is kind of top tier as far as catalogs go. But arguably, there is only 3 other artists that can compete with Jay.
Okay,
Unless
hold up. Okay, go ahead.
You could technically say 4, but the 4th won't be a mismatch. The 4th one I would say would be Snoop, because Snoop has a ton of fucking hits. But it's kind of a mismatch for me. And it is 2 different worlds, but Snoop has just as many, if not more, hits than Jay.
Snoop's an icon, man.
If we talking about though from a catalog based thing, like albums, all that shit, I say the only 3 people that can compete with Jay, and it'll be a close battle. And it changes on levels. I would say number 1, his best challenger is Kanye. And in my opinion, Kanye takes that.
He might very well.
And a lot of people don't think so. Kanye's catalog, like Jay got classics, but Kanye's fucking catalog goes toe to toe.
He got that stuff that you ain't know that he was involved with. Like that's the shit with Kanye, man. Like who hit you with some shit that he wrote for Carrie Hilson or some shit and blow your whole fucking project up, like.
And his features too. People don't talk about Ye's features.
Right.
Like, that boy got some. If he busts out the Pharrell number 1 feature, like, bruh, the Dilated People's, like. So next on my list is Drake.
Okay. Yep.
Drake is another close one. Drake got a lot of fucking hits.
He got a lot of number ones. He got a lot of number ones.
Exactly.
Right.
Jay don't got a lot of number ones that people think people think that he don't have the amount of number ones that people think he has. He just has a classic catalog from a hip hop.
He got them hood shit. He got them hood classics is what that shit is. We all came up in that shit. Like, yeah.
It's the B-sides and shit that people gonna get gassed over. There's not a lot of artists who have B-sides that you're like, oh shit. Jay got a lot of B-sides. It wasn't a hit, but that shit resonates still to this day. But Drake has a lot of hits in pop culture and just in culture in general. He got a lot of hits. The females, for one, is on Drake's side. Drake has a lot of fucking hits. But he does have a few things that will hinder him because, to me, he has some classics. People argue he don't got classic albums. I think he got at least 2. I say Take Care and what's the other one? If you count it So Far Gone as an album, I think that's a classic.
That's that shit.
And honestly, nothing. If the reading is too late, it's a classic. As much as people don't want to say, like, it was hard for me to get used to that Drake. But when you see how them songs age, that's honestly a classic, and a lot of people run with that sound. Then my third person is Wayne, obviously,
Okay.
obvious reason. But there's a caveat to that, right? Wayne's catalog is good, except if you say he can't do none of his mixtape joints, Wayne does not compete and stand a chance. If Wayne
Okay.
can pull out all his mixtape joints, it's going to be a long day. Because Wayne does have good albums. But if you look at his catalog, his balance between classic albums or good albums compared to like legendary mixtapes, that's kind of his legacy. It's like his mixtapes is a big portion of his legacy. And
Definitely.
that's the only thing that's keeping him in contendership. So honestly, I think it could be a toss-up between those four. I personally would like to see Drake and Kanye, or I would like to see Drake and Wayne. But number one for Jay, I wouldn't mind seeing number one on the list, Drake and Kanye. And I give
I'm
it to Kanye.
a little disappointed in you, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to you, man. Like, how can you not even mention your son's name, bro? Like, how are we leaving this man out? How are we leaving
I'm
Nas
glad
out,
you
yo?
said that. All right. So
You
here's
just let
my-
Nas down, Dabron.
I know, I let Nas down. Here's my argument to that, right? As much as I love and respect Nas, I think as a lyricist, he can go toe to toe with Jay. I think Ether is better than Takeover. I think he won that whole beef. As much as people the synopsis is, I think he won that. But here's the one thing: Nas has the hood classics like Jay does. He has the hip hop classics, some of the hip hop purist classics and shit like that. But he does not have the hits. He has hits, but he don't have as many hits as Jay.
Okay.
And that's what's going to, in the end, edge him out, because if Jay wanted to bust out with let me think, let me get a good one. Let me go commercial, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, give it to me, give it that funk, that sweet, that good shit. Like, Nas has an answer for that, but how many of those does he have? Well, I guess actually to that point, Jay could bust out with the female hits, and then Nas can throw in a "Got Yourself a Gun" in there, and he won that round because it's like, oh nah, he came with the hammer, but I just think the balance of it, like Nas' consistency. He has a lot of great albums that I love, but he also has some albums that didn't age well. People don't like his production. That's also a factor in it, because versus his performance battle, and you got to think of when certain production come on. Like, can you imagine public service announcement coming on and Nas having to stand in front of that? And it's like,
Oh, you gotta come with something hard after that. Like, you
After
gotta
that,
play.
you
You gotta come with something all the way hard after that shit.
and it's like, not that he don't have nothing for it.
Nah. Actually, I take that back. Nas is like, you can go with some Nas is like, or some shit like
Yeah,
that,
Nas
man.
is like it's hard, but how many of those can he? Because in my opinion, if you do a battle, if you do a versus that consists of Nas, Jay, Drake, Wayne, or Kanye, anybody I named, even a Rick Ross, like you said, even a T.I. People don't talk about T.I. very often.
They sleeping on.
I think
sure.
T.I. and Ross is the perfect matchup. Both of them got phenomenal. Like, to me, there's a tier. No, let me give my first point. If you do a versus with any of those artists, it cannot be 20 songs. You got to do fucking 40. You got to do 30 to 40 songs, and a part one and part two, because that's a lot of fucking records, bro. And just limit it to 20, it can be anybody's ball game, because if Drake, let's say Jay has a very shitty selection compared to Nas can have a very good day. Or Wayne or Drake or Kanye can have a very good day. Y'all got to do more than 40. But to me, there's tiers, right? And people don't talk about Eminem, but I'll get on that separate. Like, Eminem has a good catalog, but this day and age, it's not going to age well to the versus audience. Like, some people are going to be like, oh, this shit cool. You know the whole Eminem shit.
Yeah.
But Eminem does have the hit records. But I would say there's tiers in as far as artists. Right now, the first tier you have the Drake, the Kendrick, the Cole. Well, I'm gonna exclude them actually because no, I'm not gonna exclude. You have them the top tier: Drake, Kendrick, Cole, Kanye, Jay. Like those are the elite artists, the Waynes, the very top tier elite artists as far as catalog and rapping ability. I think the tier under that is people who can really rap on that same level, always use some classic shit, and
Mm-hmm.
have a good catalog. And to me, that's Ludacris, that's T.I., that's Rick Ross. These are people who got catalogs that's unmatched to a lot of different people. I throw Game in there. A lot of people be talking about Game, like be sleeping on Game. Game has a pretty fucking good catalog. I don't care anything you got to say. Like he got a fucking good catalog. There's tiers to that. I think on that second tier, you have those kind of artists where
Mm-hmm.
they don't get the respect or the acclaim as like
The
a Drake
commercial
or
shine.
yeah. They sold
Mm-hmm.
it like a record. Don't get me wrong, but they fall. They have phenomenal. Rick Ross has one of the most perfect. I ain't gonna say perfect because it's not perfect, but he has one of the best ears in the game. He has one of the best ears in the game, and he has one of the most slept on catalogs. Like if you go through his catalogs, there's a few in there you can get rid of. But if you really want to condense his shit up, his records, his songs, albums, like he has some very cohesive shit. T.I. as well. T.I., like if you just go from Urban Legend on to Paper Trail and
My favorite album, well, it used to be King. You know, now it's Paper Trail, I would say, but
Paper
King,
Trail,
you
my
know,
favorite
boom.
too.
Right.
Paper Trail is his perfect. Paper Trail is his best album to me.
Yeah.
King was it was King, and then he hit you with the T.I. versus T.I.P. Actually, I say King is better than T.I. versus T.I.P. And then he hit you with Paper Trail, and it was like shit. Rick Ross is
Mm-hmm.
Teflon Don. His best
Mm-hmm.
album is Teflon Don. But they fall under that tier. You can throw T.I. or Rick Ross in an arena with a Drake and Wayne, and it'll be like a Jay Z and all that, and it'll be one of those battles where they like, oh, this shit gonna be out in round one, and then next thing you know, you gonna see him going bar for bar with him. You know the outcome, like Jay or whoever is gonna win, but T.I., Rick Ross, Ludacris, I'm probably missing some other people. Like they're in that second
Oh, for
tier
sure.
of elite catalogs that you just not like you ain't going you sleeping on them if you think them niggas ain't gonna come with it. That's how I feel about that situation.
Damn it, man. I wish I had more time to speak with you, bro, but that's about all the time I have tonight for the podcast, episode 11. I got Dabron Kain here. Bro, I want you to go ahead and drop your social media information so the people out there can follow you.
All right, so you can follow me on IG, Dabron_Kain, DABRON underscore KAIN. I also made a second IG. That's King Kane, KXNGKAIN. Same thing, Facebook, Dabron Kain. Follow me on all like Spotify, Apple Music, title Dabron Kain. Twitter, Dabron Kain, no underscore, Dabron Kain together. You can follow me on TikTok, Dabron_Kain,
Oh,
but
gosh.
I'm active on it, but not as active. I'm gonna probably get a lot more active now, but like I do a little bit of TikTok. You can follow me on that. But yeah, just basically, my website, DabronKmusic.com. You follow me, if you check out my website, you'll find all my platforms on that shit. You can go down the rabbit hole, you find everything, you find my catalogs, all that. Like DabronKmusic.com, Instagram, you can DM me, like whatever it is.
Oh, they're going to slide in the DMs on you.
You can Google me. You Google my name, shit comes up.
I co-signed that one. I actually did it.
So yeah, that's where you can check me out, man. All platforms, streaming platforms, Twitter, IG. I'm most active on IG, and I'm trying to get more active on Twitter, but whatever. Like, follow me and we'll see.
Right, right. Well, nah, man, honestly, thank you for taking time out to talk with me tonight, man. This episode 11 of the podcast. I haven't got to interview you in a long time, man. It was a Saturday night shutdown. I feel like the last time we talked to you, and that's been over 2 years ago. So It's good to actually be able to chop it up with you, man. I can't wait to actually see you in person here soon. And yeah, man, keep on pushing. I can't wait to follow up with you and hear about the accolades this album is about to bring to you, man. So just keep on going with what you're doing, bro, for real.
Definitely appreciate it. You definitely keep doing what you're doing. You and Spaceship, keep moving, keep building the legacy, keep putting on for the Bay, Waves of the Bay, all that, like Waves of the Bay podcast, Waves of the Bay on Saturday Night Shutdown. Like, keep going.
Yeah, you see it, man. You see it, bro. You see it.
I personally think y'all should get the shows back, but you know, it's what y'all.
That's a whole nother discussion right there.
Trust me, I get it.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
For sure, man. But yeah, the rest of the world out there, thank y'all for tuning in to Waves of the Beta podcast tonight. We'll catch y'all in a couple of weeks with the next show, the next artist. This is all Tampa Bay related right here, man. We're putting on for all the talented folks out there. And once again, thank you, Dabron Kain, for being my guest on episode 11 of Waves of the Bay. With that being said, y'all be easy. Peace.
Sabi forever. Stand for something. We appreciate the blessing, bro. Let's go.
Ain't trying to bite it, we create it, then we ride it. We know our wave is seismic and you really can't deny it. We just keep on soaring higher. You would swear it's autopilot, then you realize tone and shift and made a living off of fly. We are the wave and it's bigger than the moment. It's a movement that's progressing like the truck stick on opponents. It's time to stake our claim. It's time to bring the pain. We're battle tested, now it's time to show it ain't a game. It's time to make a lane, a different vibe, another way. We're known for killing, shoot, even help them pick their graves. We're breaking free and chains and running towards the day. Like the victories in plain sight, we're taking flight to reach heights. These boys is tired of waiting, tired of playing, time to go. This vibe's been percolating, gaining steam to explode. Built in anticipation, maybe time to reload. We paid our dues, now we're coming back to repo. We kicking toes, we ain't got no time for peepholes. We keep evolving for our family and our peoples. Ain't playing fair in this game, we just some cheat codes. We are the wave and I heard